There we go. Hey everyone, this is your favorite radio host, Corinne LaFoy, your only radio host. You know I always say that. Between the between the lines, broadcasting to you from Trinidad and Tobago. It's a bit overcastish. I couldn't be a newscaster, right? Overcastish. But you know what I mean. It's not really that dark and it's not really that bright. Well, that's kind of overcast. But anyways, overcastish. That's my term. And so, and so I'm still having a wonderful day. I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to have my guest alive so that we can both be talking. And for those who will be listening to this recording, I am glad you are alive and that you will be sharing this, because this is an episode that you need to listen to, as with all my other episodes, because they're all awesome. I always have awesome people on my show. And I'm going to introduce Nicole Fendi. Now, her name, you might look at it and say it's Fend, but there's an E there, so it's Fendi. And so I'm going to introduce her quickly, and then we get into the topic of how to profit from self-publishing. So Nicole Fendi, she's also called a numbers whisperer, and I'll show you her website in a while, and you'll know why she's a numbers whisperer. She tames your financial fears and delivers practical advice to boost your bottom line. She is a credentialed actuary. Lord, you know what an actuary is? Look, she is more than a numbers whisperer. Let's just take it as that. So she is a credentialed actuary with experience as an investment banker. Oh, who attained chief financial officer status before age 30, and she doesn't look beyond age 30, so I don't know the maths on that. Nico, she has a lot of explaining to do. Clearly, I wonder if she's really a numbers whisperer. Nico is the author of How to Be a Finance Rockstar, and I'm going to have to bring her on to talk about that back again. The small business owners ticket to multi-platinum profit, so definitely she has to be back on. And the prosperity dimension, a small biz sci-fi adventure, and that's why you will be seeing some nice little superheroes behind her in a while. Her secret weapon, as with all superheroes, is a highly contagious laugh, and I'm sure you're hearing it already, with no known antidote. Oh my God, there's no cure for that laugh. So, so here we go. This is Nicole Fendi, and I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to see her beautiful face if you haven't been seeing it already. So let me see if I can get to her website here. Yes. Nicole.
Hi, how are you?
I am there coughing, but you know, as I told you before, I'm not going to show my nice, sexy, beautiful self coughing. So that's just going to take away from the beauty. So, Nicole, you had to have a picture with that cough, without an that cough, without, with that, you see, I am so sick, with that laugh, I'm sorry, with that laughter. A picture of you laughing, that is you, every day.
That's right.
That's you.
Most people think numbers are scary and icky, and
I'm not hearing you, Nicole. You sound very low.
I sound very what?
Yes, you're sounding better now. You're sounding low a while ago.
Low. How's that?
That's better. You were low. Yeah.
Low.
Low. So your picture is one of laughter. I was saying cough.
Yes.
Clearly, misery loves company. So you are you're a numbers whisperer, an actuary. Now,
Yes.
actuaries seem to be serious people. So I don't know. You know, you don't fit the profile of a normal, regular actuary. Okay, actuary is not supposed to be laughing. Actuary is not supposed to be having fun. Actuary is supposed to be crunching numbers and talking about the projections and possibilities and what could happen, and you know, all those different things. What's wrong with you, Nicole?
Well, that's why I don't work as a traditional actuary anymore, because you're right. They tend to be very serious, and I like to play. I feel like numbers are fun for me, and I want to make them fun and relatable for other people, because at the end of the day, when you're in business, you need to understand your numbers.
That's right.
You're in business to make money, because if you're losing money, it's just an expensive hobby.
And a lot of us are in that. So A lot of us are in that. And I think we need to go through the expensive hobby. I think it's a phase and a journey. You have to find yourself, you have to find that sweet spot, and it takes you a while to find that sweet spot in your business. So it's going to be an expensive hobby unless of course you really come upon something spectacular and it goes off from the get-go. But most of us, including myself, is not like that. It's like an expensive hobby and you just keep going until something happens, and then the spark, and it doesn't stop from there. But we're here today. I mean, I'm showing you Nicole's website, which is the Numbers Whisperer, all the finance and everything. But I'm showing you this so that you know where to get her if you want to talk anything finance or anything about your small business and how to make more money and invest and all those things. I mean, she was a chief financial officer. Come on. So they didn't put her there for nothing, okay? So, but I'm going to have her back on because this show also talks about money and business and, for small businesses. And I really don't like to say the word small business because like it's sort of like a self-limiting belief to me.
Yes.
You say the word small and you keep small and you think small, and just the words that you use tend to disempower you, and I don't really like to use small business. But people in business need to know about their finances and the best way to use it, invest it, etc., etc. So I'm going to have her back on for that. But today we're talking about how to profit with self-publishing. Same money talk, but
Yep.
with self-publishing. And why would Nicole know about self-publishing? Tell us, why would you know about self-publishing, Nicole?
Well, about 6 years ago, I released my first book, How to Be a Finance Rock Star. And when I went to write a book, I realized that it can be very difficult, to get it can be very difficult to get a traditional publishing house agreement. And secondly, if you do have a traditional publishing house agreement, you give up a lot of control and you give up potentially intellectual property rights. So I realized, I can do this myself. And now I'm 2 books in. I've got 2. You're pulling them up there. I've got How to Be a Finance Rock Star, and then I did Prosperity Dimension, and both of my books have made me a profit. So I see she's sharing the pictures there.
Yeah,
And
I was muted. I'm so sorry. I was coughing. I was coughing. Yeah, and I'm looking here. I realized that I was muted. So this is your How to Be a Finance, and this is your ticket in. I guess it's your ticket to
yes,
multi-platinum profits.
that's right.
It's your ticket in to multi-platinum profit. And I see these are the characters that's right behind you. Look around, look around. Yay! She has a wall filled with them. Oh my goodness. And I guess her own superhero suit is in her cupboard, hanging up somewhere. So
I do dress up as the character in the second book, Brenna Rain. I call her my alter ego.
Ew.
And I do dress up as her. In fact, when I launched the book,
Yeah.
I dressed up as Brenna Rain for my book launch.
Nice. And that's a nice way to attract people. Hey,
That's right.
that's nice. So here's what. So you self-publish, and you're absolutely right. I'm a publisher and self-publishing consultant. So I know it's very difficult to get into traditional publishing. I've told people this, advise them on this as well. So I do agree with you. Once you put your book out there to a traditional publishing house, it takes nothing less than probably 2 years before they could even probably get back to you, if any. And,
Right.
and they take the greater percentage, obviously, because you are not putting any money up front. They are doing
Right.
all the work for you. And so some people like to take that route, but like I tell them, you have to be prepared to wait, and there are no guarantees that they're going to accept your book because it is a business for them. They have to take the books that will make money. They don't, it is a business, as opposed to self-publishing. Now with self-publishing, you have to put your own cost out because it's on you, right? So
Right.
you have to put your money out, but it's faster. Everything is faster. Your book is published faster. You can start making money faster, and all the royalties are yours. You're not sharing it. Well,
Yeah.
a part of it, if you're on Amazon, of course, they will take a percentage from it, but the majority is yours. Yeah, and
I
it's
still get,
huh?
what I love is when my books sell on Amazon, it's direct from I do print on demand.
Yeah.
So I literally just get deposits into my bank account and I do nothing.
That's
I
what
mean,
I
it's
say.
great.
That's what I tell people. You do nothing. You just collect the royalties because you're not doing the fulfillment. You're not packaging, shipping, and sending and mailing and all those different things. You just put the damn thing up there and they do it for you. People can buy it from all over the world and it just goes to them and you just collect the royalties. I mean, that's the way to live. So
Right.
tell us your experience on self-publishing and how persons can profit. What are some of the strategies that you have used to
Well,
allow you to profit? Because I see both of your books are 19, well, call it $20, 19.95
yes.
each. Yeah.
hmm Yep. So and they're business books. So you
Mm-hmm.
can have a higher rate for a business book, and that
Right.
is part of the process is doing research. So a big thing, a huge mistake I see people make is that they don't sit down and create a budget before they start spending money.
Mm.
And what happens is that you spend some money here and you spend some money there and you say that's a great idea,
Mm-hmm.
and before you know it, I've seen people get $20,000 in.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to get that back? Which we can
Mm-hmm.
talk about in a second. So
Yeah.
the first thing I do is encourage them, set a budget, figure out what's important. So you talk about you would be what I'd call a book shepherd. You
Mm-hmm.
help people through the self-publishing process is at least part of what you do.
I love that name, Book Shepherd. I'm going to use it.
Yes. Well, and you know what? If you don't know anything about self-publishing,
Mm-hmm.
you need a book shepherd
Yeah.
because it's complicated. It's not
Yes.
simple. It's
Yes.
complicated.
Yes.
So that becomes a budget item. You have to
Mm-hmm.
say, all right, I'm going to hire a book shepherd. How much does it cost?
Mm-hmm.
You need an editor. This is the biggest mistake I see in self-publishing, where if your book doesn't look professional when it's done,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter how great the content is.
Exactly. Exactly. Because that's the first thing people see. Just like when you go into a normal regular bookstore.
Yeah.
The cover and everything, the look, the font,
Yes.
the pictures, the wording, the blurb at the back, all of that is the seller. I mean, they say, don't, what is it? There's a phrase, don't, what? Something about a book
Don't
by cover.
don't judge a book by a cover, but the reality is
That's
there's
a,
actually research that's exactly what everyone does.
yeah, yeah, yeah. People judge you.
Absolutely.
People judge you as a person. People judge your book based on that. Yeah.
hmm
Mm.
So having a budget for, like you said, well, an editor, you cannot edit your own work,
Oh
period, full
God.
stop.
People try that, Nicole. I keep telling them stop. Yeah. They
So,
want to save, they want to cut costs. And I
right,
understand that. I understand that, but you cannot edit your own book. I mean, you don't see your own mistakes. You're too close to the damn thing.
right. So when I talk about profiting, before you even say you want to go through this, you have to figure out how much you're going to spend total and how are you going to divide it up. And
Mm-hmm.
what do you really need? And then you have to stick to it, because once you get into it, it's so easy to say, oh, this is so neat and that's so neat. Oh my God, that's the best thing since sliced bread. And
Yeah.
before you know it, you've blown your budget out of the water. Well, you're
Yeah.
going to lose money. It's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that's number one. And the other piece of that puzzle is, okay, you have expenses. Then you have to think about how much money are you going to make? Well, and you probably already know this, average self-published book, the average sales, and this is a hard number to get at, but the best number I can find is the average number of sales if you self-publish is only 50 books, 50.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, if you sell 50 books and you've just spent $10,000,
I can't do the maths on that.
200, you would have to charge $200 a book to break even. No.
And I've
Now,
never seen a book for $200.
I'm sure there's one somewhere. I don't know. But I mean, realistically, you're not going to. So you want to go investigate what's a reasonable price. Business
Mm-hmm.
books,
Mm-hmm.
because that's my target market is business owners,
Right.
entrepreneurs, small business owners, consultants. $20 is a number that they're definitely willing to spend on this
Yeah.
type of book.
Yeah.
So now that's not necessarily a reasonable number for other people.
Yeah.
Amazon is a great place to figure out what are people willing to buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can say, well, how many do I need to sell?
Mm-hmm.
You can sell more than 50. That's where we get the third piece. So we've got your expenses. We've got, okay, what are you going to charge for this book, and then how many can you realistically sell? People who only sell 50 or less, they don't even have a plan.
Yeah.
So they, who are you selling this book to? Is there a built-in market? As I'm sure you gathered, I'm a huge fan of science fiction and fantasy.
I would have never known. I would have never.
And there's an author called Larry Carrera, who is now a huge New York Times best-selling author. I love reading his books.
Yeah.
When he started as a self-published author in his first book. And because he couldn't, I don't know if he even tried, but I don't think, even if he was trying, I don't think he was getting any attention. But he's now a career author. Okay. He started with self-publishing. What he did is, in his books, it's about monster hunters. They go out and they, kill vampires and they're monster hunters, right?
Right.
So he tapped into a market in the U.S. of people who are considered gun enthusiasts, because his characters are really into guns and all different kinds of guns and blowing stuff up. Right. And he tapped into that market and had huge sales.
But the gun industry is a serious industry. I mean, people are serious. Yes, that is. Yeah. I mean, anybody who could talk about guns. I mean, even things on sex.
So you find a hook. You find, what's your hook? What is going to make someone spend their hard-earned money? Yeah. And you want to think about that when you're designing the cover, when you're putting it together. Who are and even reach out to them ahead of time before the book launches. You can. That's how you know you're going to get more sales than the 50. But then that also leads you to, how can you? I talk about getting money before the book is released. Right, like a pre-order. Even better than a pre-order. Okay. Okay, let's hear it. So, even better than a pre-order, here are some other ways you can have your book pay for itself. So if you don't have, let's say you decide your budget is $10,000, you're like, well, I don't even if I can sell enough copies, I don't have 10 grand sitting in the bank. Right. Well, guess what? There are options. If it's a fiction book, yes, you can do pre-orders, but you can also do things like, you can have people pay or bid to have a character written after them. They can name the character. Maybe they can, they become a character in the book, a minor character in the book. Because you know what? People's ego and flattery will get you everywhere. Of course. Of course. Any day. So many people don't pursue that. And I'm like, geez, it's a fiction book. Yeah. You can also tie into interests. So, for example, Larry was an example of, if you're a gun enthusiast. Another example is, you can go to people who, let's say there's a theme or a location. I'm in a writer's group. I live in Minnesota here in the United States. Right. I'm in a writer's group with other ladies it's a women's writer's group. There's a woman there who wrote a book about the history and the backstories of people who are like 60 plus. They're 60 years old or older, and their life stories growing up in this town. She has sold thousands of copies of that book. Whoa. Yeah. Because everybody, and so it does feed into the pre-order. Everybody who's in the book wanted a copy. Yeah. Everybody wants a part of history. That tradition is going to be lost. So she has captured that. Yeah. She has captured it. Yeah. You can also, if it's a book that might appeal to, let's say, children literacy programs, they may support it, because let's say you're trying. For example, my daughter's 9, and I know her school has really tried to make an effort to make sure books are inclusive. So for example, she's just finishing up a section where they read a bunch of kids books by an author who's African American. Right. And so schools are looking for that. They want that. So especially if you are writing to a market that they're like, okay, we want and need this. Yes. We'll help pay for limited knowledge. Yeah. If you're nonfiction, or like, especially like business, you can sell sponsorships. So for example, my book, at the back of my sorry, I'm looking for it right now. The back of my book has an ad in it. So my printer for my book,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to a big science fiction conference.
Yeah.
We worked out a sponsorship so that she sponsored the book, so the book has an ad on the last page.
Very good. Very good. So because she gets promotion every time somebody buys that book. So she has
Yes.
to pay for that way. Just like how you would run a newspaper or magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's you're only limited. You talked about self-limiting beliefs using the word small.
Yes.
And it's the same with raising money. You just have to find out what's in it for them.
Yeah.
And then let them know how you're going to meet that need.
Yeah. 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 I've talked to people who write poetry. It's a difficult sell. And I've written articles when I was living in Jamaica for 21 years, I've written for the Jamaica Gleaner. I was a columnist with them. And I wrote articles on publishing to help people in the publishing industry. And a lot of people have difficulty in terms of poetry, and I mean, I'm not a poet, but just I'm a creative person. And so I've said to them, I said, listen, you have poetry, you have to find different ways to market your book, get your book, noticed and sold out there. So if you're writing poetry, you have colorful language, you can come up with bookmarks, cards, things on cups. You can create a cups, teacups with the words which are inspirational.
Yes.
You can do so many things. You can, if it's poetry and it's probably geared towards a theme, like you say with women, there are many organizations that you can approach to say, hey, I think my book will be an inspiration to your organization. I'm going to give you X number of free copies, and if you buy so many, kind of thing. And so it becomes that thing that the organization is associated with. They could sponsor, just like how you talk about. So you have to think about, I call those things repurposing.
Yes.
You have a product, and how can I repurpose this in multiple ways? Just like how a movie will come out. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, they make a trilogy from that. They have so many other things. They're milking the thing, right? They're milking it. There's so many different ways they're doing it. And then, of course, that's just the movie itself. You have superheroes. They could bring out bags. You can bring out keychains. You can bring out also mouse pads. You can bring out so many.
Actually, I don't know if you can see this. I'm building a game.
Very good. You can do a coloring book for kids.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
You can have a superhero party, children's parties. Your characters can be in there. For what you all have Halloween, people can be dressed up like I mean, if you just let your mind just go crazy, just think of all the crazy things. It is possible, but people just think, oh, I write a book, I put it on Amazon, and everybody's going to know that I'm an author. No. I watch people that I work with, and I'm like, are you crazy? Yeah. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. So like, how much money am I going to make? I can live off of this. I can just retire, sit back and rock in my chair. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. This is when the work begins. And as a matter of fact, the work begins before you even publish the book, because you're supposed to be marketing it from before. You don't wait till it's published and you have a product in your hand and then market. So people have this concept that, oh, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be, and there's nothing wrong with thinking that, because I don't like to stop people from thinking these things, because it is possible, but it takes work. And just like how you were saying, how we were talking at the beginning, an expensive hobby. It is going to be an expensive hobby at first, because you're going to be putting out things, effort, time, sweat, blood, and tears, money, whatever, to do the thing that you are passionate about and you love. And it may take a while for the money to start rolling in, based on what you invest in it. So yes, it might be an expensive hobby at first, but you're learning along the way. You see, that's the key. Yep. You're learning along the way. And what I want to find out from you, Nicole, is what have you learned along the way to share with these authors that, you stumped your toe, you hurt your heart, you made a mistake, somebody carried you down a road that you knew at the time you shouldn't, but you paid for it. I want to know, really what happened for you. I mean, it's great to share those ideas of
Mm-hmm.
how you can profit and the different ways that people can make money and consider how to profit from the book even, before pre-ordering or better than pre-ordering. But I want to know some of the little bumps and scares and setbacks you've had and how you roll back from that, especially as an
Right.
actuary. Yeah.
Well, okay, the single biggest one for my
Mhm.
first book was when I got my first draft back and looking at basically the equivalent of all the red ink
Mm,
that because I'd always been told I was a good writer.
mhm.
I'd been blogging for a long time. I'd done
Right.
lots of writing in the business world. So I'm like, I got this,
Of
right?
course, of course.
And I got it back and I thought, I just wanted to cry because it was just like, I was gutted
It was
thinking,
a
I'm
blow to
terrible.
the ego. It was a blow to the ego.
Oh,
What did
yeah,
it
it was a
mean?
blow to it was totally a blow to my ego.
Of course.
Totally.
What do they mean? What do they mean? Why are they questioning me about this? I do
Right.
my stuff. Yeah.
I mean, my editor told me, and by the way, my editor is amazing, and she was right. So she wasn't, and I used her on my second book. I still work with her because I'm working on
Hmm.
some other stuff now.
Hmm.
But she actually told me take out an entire chapter.
Oh my God. Didn't you
And
want to bury yourself?
yes, I thought I'm never gonna get a book out. I suck. I'm terrible. Oh my! I
Yeah.
mean, it was
Yeah.
I can it was years ago, and I remember that feeling,
Yes.
this feeling. So what I say now, and that's one reason why I'm in this authors group now, and I'm not saying I'm ever excited to see the red ink, but I'm prepared for it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I hear new authors come in and they get something back from an editor and they have that reaction. And I always say to them, we all get it. And what my editor told me was first drafts always suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the second drafts aren't going to, it's part of the process.
Yeah.
And it, getting past yourself and your ego, that's
Yes.
hard. It's
Nicole.
hard.
Humility check. Humility check. That,
Bingo.
yes, that's what it is. Ego and a humility check. You're not all that and a bag of chips. Okay? You, okay?
Oh, yeah.
All that,
Oh, yeah.
right? You're not all that and a bag of chips. So sit right down and you have to now listen to somebody else who is not an actuary. Right? Because I'll tell you, I'm educated. I have a master's in human resource development and all of that. But I don't tell people these things. And people are like, Corey, I didn't know you know all of that. And because I don't walk around talking about I'm a this, I have this, I have that. I'm a very humble person. A lot of people don't know a lot of things about me. They discover it along the way if I reveal it or if they come upon it. But I'm saying this because a lot of us who are educated, we allow that to get in the way of,
Yes.
yes, we allow that to get in the way and we feel, oh, we have all of this, we know this, we got this, and then somebody else who we hand our work to or we show something to tell us, no, that's wrong, do it over. And
Yep.
we're like, what? Who the hell are you? What? But then why are we going to them in the first place? You have to go to an
Yes.
editor. You
Yes.
have
Oh,
to go to an editor. You have to recognize that you cannot self-edit your work.
mm-hmm.
So you have to go to somebody for help. Help,
Mm-hmm.
help, Nicole. We have to ask for help at some point. Don't
Yes.
matter where we are in life. And these are life lessons we're talking about. Even though we talk about profit from self-publishing, it's a journey, it's a lesson.
Right.
It's a life lesson when you decide to become an author because you realize
Oh.
it's what you're doing is not about you. It's for other
Mm-hmm.
people. And if you want to give the best of yourself, if you want to give people
Right.
value and you want to connect with people, the bag of chips part of you, the all that part of you need to
Chips part.
right? It needs to come right back to hell down. Come back down. Recognize who you are. Because you're going to be connecting with people from different backgrounds.
Right.
And how in heaven's name are you going to connect with them? Because you're an actuary, because you're a CEO, because you're a what? Who the hell cares?
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell cares? You can't take that to the damn grave. No money.
God, I hope not. I want to escape it at some point.
Right? But look at how you escaped it. Look at how you escaped it. You decided, hold on. The people who are actuaries, no, they're not smiling. They're not having fun. No, I need to I need to get a life. I need to smile more. I can't be all a stuffy old actuary. No, right? And I'm not saying all actuaries are stuffy. So
A lot of them are.
I left that for you to say. That's your industry. But you get what I'm saying, Nicole. You know, we need to recognize who we are in this process, in this world, in this life. And we need to humble ourselves and allow other people to teach us, to correct us, to let us know this is not the right way, you know, and it takes humility. I've worked with some clients and they feel they know more than me. Let me tell you, it's battle, Nicole. They feel they know more than me, and I tell you, some of them threaten me. They threaten me, tell me all sorts of tactics, and when they realize I'm not taking them on, they turn around. I'm like, really? Those things bounce off of me. I'm like, you went that low? I can't believe it. You know, I can't believe that you went that low. I mean, I just totally ignored you. You noticed? You know, if you don't have that armor, that skin of steel, you're gonna break. And you could have break too, because when you saw that chapter had to be removed, you probably worked real hard on that chapter.
I did. I thought it was a great chapter. I was so upset.
Yeah, you probably work real hard and you're like, I just love chapter 2. Oh my God, that's my favorite. And there she is telling you, cut it. And you're like, cut it.
That's when I learned the term "kill your darlings."
Oh my God,
Have
what
you
is
ever
that?
heard that?
No.
So, okay, so my editor explained it to me because she said we're at a "kill your darlings" moment, Nicole. And I'm like, what are you talking? I'm not going to kill anybody. And so in the creative process, because she's an artist as well, and she paints things like that. So she said in the creative process, there comes a time where you've created something and you love it. It's your darling.
Yes.
And you realize it's not working and you have to get rid of it. Yeah.
That's hard, Nicole.
It was. I mean, but you know, I knew at the end of the day there was trust.
Yes.
Between her and I knew she had my best interest at heart, that she was genuinely trying to help me.
Yeah.
And I knew that she was an expert. That's why I went to her.
Yeah.
So I had to trust her and
Nicole,
her judgment.
that's hard. The trust, giving it up, letting go, Nicole, letting go of your darlings and giving it to somebody else for them to tell you what to do with your darlings.
Yep. That was a huge lesson for me. And everyone looking, and even now, it's still hard. Yeah. It's never going to be easy because they're still your darlings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at least now I have the tools to deal with it better.
Yeah.
You know, like I know it's coming. I know to expect it. I can kind of like, okay, you know, I think I can deal with this.
Yeah, brace for the worst. Brace for the worst. Brace for the worst and be surprised, because probably in the process of writing your second book, and I'm sure you're going to do a third and a fourth, you know, by the time you get around to that, you're like, oh, I'm expecting this from my editor. And you might be surprised. She mightn't have anything to say.
Well, and that'd be great, but I doubt it, because, you know, she adds value. And that's why I go to her. I mean, it's kind of, you know, this is just, again, a life lesson. Don't hire somebody who's an expert and then ignore them. Yeah. Just don't waste your money or their time.
Yeah, or even, let me add to that, don't hire somebody who's going to be a friend and treat you nice. And say the right things.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't want a friend. You don't want a friend. You have enough of that. You want somebody.
I can never have too many friends.
Right? Right? You have enough. Right? So you don't need a friend. You don't need a friend. And this is what I tell people. When I'm doing business, I don't have friends. Even though I love you a lot. But we are talking business here now. Right. This is a different thing. There's no friend in this. When I'm finished with the business, we could hug and kiss. But right now, this is business. Right? So you want people to be honest and open with you, to tell you the truth. Because if they're being nice, then you're not going to move. You're not going to progress. You're not going to learn. Yeah. Wow. So moving from how to be a finance rock star to the prosperity dimension,
Mm-hmm.
compare the two books for me, meaning the experience, did it get better or did it get worse? Did you learn anything differently from the prosperity dimension that you didn't in how to be a finance rock star?
Absolutely, because the second book is,
Mm-hmm.
it has fiction. It's like a
Oh.
business fable. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
science fiction story
Mm-hmm.
that has business lessons built into it.
Okay. Now
And
that's
so
interesting. I'm going to stop you there. That's interesting. Blending sci-fi with business. How is
yeah.
that possible? Give me a snippet of an example. Let me kind
Okay.
of.
So here's an example
Mm-hmm.
is in every chapter there's a message. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
every chapter has a message or a lesson. So in the very first chapter of the book,
Mm-hmm.
it's called What's in It for Me.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the very first chapter, the main character she's a bounty hunter, because of course
Wow.
bounty hunters, they're in business for themselves and they care about making money.
Of course.
So she goes to meet some guy who has a job for her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about like, oh, my poor friend and this and that, and like all this emotional stuff, which
Right.
often happens in business, right?
Right. Oh,
Like
yeah.
you said, people,
Mm.
but at the end of the day, we have to make money. We have to pay
Right.
our mortgage. I got to pay my mortgage. I got to make sure my kid has clothes, all that
Right.
stuff.
Right.
So, in the book, the character's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. He's your
Mm-hmm.
friend, but I'm in business. What's in it for me? And so you
Right.
see her like react. It's like a real life example of
Mm-hmm.
someone and how they handle that
Mm-hmm.
type of situation, and
Mm-hmm.
how she gets to the point where they're talking about business and she
Mm-hmm.
negotiates him for the contract.
Right.
But
Right.
it's written in a way that it's entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. And why did you use, I mean, it's sci-fi, so you use characters, animated characters as opposed to, well, sci-fi could have real people,
Hmm.
but you use more animated.
Yes.
Why that approach? Is it that your audience, you wanted to expand your audience
Mm.
to probably even younger folks,
That
children?
also the style, graphic novels have become very popular.
Right.
And the style, it's called manga, the style that's going on in this
Mm-hmm.
that the artist is using. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually have, I don't know if you can see, 45 illustrated pages in this
Right.
book
Mm-hmm.
where I worked with an artist who's skilled in the manga style.
Okay.
And the idea was, like you said, to reach a broader audience, to
Mm-hmm.
tap into something that's really popular right now. Again, doing your market research, knowing your target market.
Mm-hmm.
People like graphic novels are hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other piece was people learn differently.
Yes.
And some people can just read and learn, but
Yeah.
because each lesson is encapsulated in the illustration,
Right.
if you learn more like visually,
Yes.
it's a way to reach people and help understand the lesson, because part of
Mm.
what I do in my business is make things understandable no matter what your learning style is.
Oh, beautiful. For an actuary, that's different. Because, yeah, because I'll tell you, I don't like accounting. I just like to count the money. I know how to spend the money, and I I know about the money, counting, seeing it in the bank and whatever, spending it and knowing what to spend it on. I like that. And I mean, I don't like accounting. I leave that to the accountants, where they crunch the numbers and all that creepy stuff. And I can tell just from looking at it what I should do, where the money is being made, where, stuff like that. And they can tell me and they can give me strategies on what I should do best and where I should focus, all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
But Lord have mercy, I can't. I really respect what you do. Really, anybody who is into numbers, I respect them, and I just cringe at the thought. So for you to take something and make it simple, which is what the world is about now, Nicole.
Right.
Everything is to make it accessible and simple. Nobody is into complicated, make it difficult. Everything is so simple. I mean, look how we moved from going into a restaurant or a fast food and we have to stand up in a line. Now you have the drive-through. Everything is now
Right.
easy. Say what you want, pick it up, go home. You know,
Right.
I mean, everything is now fast and furious. You know, it's just make it easy. Even with my clients, you know, you set up appointments and I still have to call them. I still have to tell them, look, your appointment is coming up. You know, spoon feeding is still around.
Yes.
Right? Right?
Yes.
Because people just want easy. Nobody, I mean, your life is already complicated otherwise with other things to decide on, children, this, that. You really don't need it. So if you could break things down for people to get it quickly and you find you know how people think, it comes back to the psychology of the mind. You
Right.
know how people think. You're like, nobody's going to get this. This is going to be difficult. And then to make it worse, they're not going to want to read your book.
Right.
And if they don't read it, they're not going to buy it. And if they're not going to read it or buy it, they're not going to recommend it. There's a kind of rippling effect
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So you want to make this thing super easy or as easy as possible and give them even activities or worksheets or whatever to make them even take some form of action that they can
Yep.
feel that they're doing something, yeah, or
Yep.
know that they're doing something. Wonderful, wonderful. So how to be a finance rock star? My ticket, I'm looking at it, to the multi-platinum profits. Tell us the synopsis of that book. What somebody buys that book, what is that book really about?
It's actually as if you have hired me to consult with you. I wrote it based on sitting down with small business owners, consultants, you know, entrepreneurs, and helping them understand how to achieve their profit goals. I take the pain and fear out of the basics around numbers so that they can take action and understand what exactly they need to do without making it, like you said, without making it complicated,
Yeah.
to achieve their profit goals. To take something and in this actually, so I don't know if you can see this, but there are mascots and villains in here.
What?
So I've got a cat, Fluffy the finance feline.
Yes.
I've got Maxine the math mutt, and there's villains.
Let me see if I can get that a little bit big. I'm going to stop sharing here.
The serial profit killer. So here's the two of them together.
Yes, two is better than one. Let me see the other.
And so let's see. I'm gonna get a villain in a second here. Let's get
You're gonna get a villain in a second.
Where's the villain? Okay, so there's one of the villains, the number muncher.
Yeah.
So and then there's a playlist. So
he doesn't look that horrible. He doesn't look like frightening.
Well, the idea was you shouldn't be scared.
Oh, true. Okay,
So
yeah.
he's a villain, but he's a manageable villain.
Okay then. I'll keep that in mind when I'm watching those other shows on TV. You're a manageable villain. Okay. You're a manageable. I can handle you. Yeah.
So basically, you know, I see a lot of people go into business. The genesis for this and the reason why and who I'm speaking to is I see a lot of people go into business for themselves. They have a passion, they have a skill, and they're really good at it, and they work really hard.
Right.
But they don't understand the numbers piece. And so they don't get past that expensive hobby or barely treading water, whatever. This book gives you the skills and tools to make it profitable, to achieve your profit goals, and not give you a headache. It's not complicated. It's easy to understand. It's fun.
Yeah,
I know it's
fun. I like the fun part.
There's even a playlist because I use music examples throughout the book.
Whoa. Girl,
and so
what's wrong with you? You're an actuary. You're an actuary when you're talking about fun and music and cartoons and animation. What are you doing?
That's why I'm a credential actuary, but that's why I do this instead, because I like doing all that stuff.
That's nice. That's nice. You know, there are few people who have that balance, the science and the arts, who can do both and blend them together. There are few people who can do that. That's amazing. You're gifted.
Thank you. Well, I'm very passionate about helping people achieve their dreams in business.
Yeah.
You know, that I believe that, especially I see a lot of women in particular who struggle with the numbers and finance side, and I'm like, you know, you don't need to struggle. I can help you. You can make this happen.
Yeah, yeah. Do you offer help, like you were saying? I want to run on that. Do you offer help to persons and businesses? What do you offer to them in terms of your services?
Well, I have online courses, so those are like the most cost-effective way to access what I do. But I also do one-on-one consulting, and I am starting up actually like a membership where you can get access to me through weekly calls called the Prosperity Circle. That'll be launching shortly. So there's different ways depending on their budget how they can access. I wrote my first book because for $20 you can get what I teach a lot of people.
Okay. Okay.
So that was the idea, was I wanted it to be, if you can't afford $20 to make your business work, maybe you shouldn't be in business.
Something is wrong. I want to go back to your website here. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Where Work with Nicole, right? It should be under that.
Yep. There's that. They can, you know, so I have different services. They can reach out to me. There I am making more laughing.
Yeah. Right. Right. Chart your own course. Okay.
Yep. And you can get a free consult. So on the bottom of that page, you can sign up and do a free consult with me where we talk about what's really holding you back. And I can direct you in is what's the best way to move forward. And sometimes it's not me. And I'm happy if it's somebody else or another service. Yeah. I'm a big believer in doing what's right for the person I'm talking to. So I will refer you to other people that I know that are good at what they do and that they can help you.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's a beautiful thing about not only being in business, but I think it's a very good quality. I don't know what to call that, but persons who are willing to refer to others. I think it speaks to a character in you. There are some people who would not refer to others at all. Whether they can do it or not, they still hold on to the person because they don't want that money, that referral to go to someone else. I don't do that. If I am not capable or I feel somebody would be better at doing something, I would say, you know, I'm going to put you on to so-and-so. I think they could be a better fit. You could still work with me if you wish. But, you know, I think this person, you know, should be an addition to what you're doing, or you can work with that particular person. So it's really good to know that you refer. I'm going through your website here as we're going through the close. Oh, I see you have a nice little video here.
Yeah, I also speak. So I do workshops and conferences, and so people can retain me to come in and do a speak. I have some standard talks. One of them is how to profit from self-publishing. You'll see that down there. Another one is busting through your profit blocks. And trying to remember what my third one, I know I should know that. Clear your path to profit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do, because again, it's my way to top 3 pricing mistakes. Oh, well, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you back on if you're willing to, not necessarily on my interview on my radio show, but I do these master classes. And well, I shouldn't say I do. I'm starting it up. I've started promoting it and talking to people who are interested. And I would really like to have you on to do like a master class to help small businesses. We can talk more about that offline, but you know, I just wanted to mention it here. You know, I'm looking at different ways, or I have looked, and I know the needs that people have to reach out to them, you know, to help them, just like you know, and if we can collaborate and work together on that, that would be awesome, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run this little video here. Let me see.
I don't know if they can.
Small business owners and entrepreneurs notoriously don't earn what they want to earn. It's not that they can't see the path to profit, but they don't know how to clear the obstacles along the way. These obstacles can be boiled down into 3 key issues. I call them profit blocks. They block you and your business from achieving your profit goals. Let's go for a ride on the Autobahn. You're with me, and we're going 100 miles an hour. When I do this, What do? Scream? Yell? Pull my arm down? Something. Because you know, if we keep going, we will hit a curve and we will crash. That Autobahn ride is like your business. You can avoid looking at your numbers, but eventually you will hit a curve and your business will fail. That is the first profit block. Driving blind. If there's good news, I can help. Ask yourself, when was the last time I really looked at my numbers? See you out there, sliding down in your seat, looking, giving the side eye to your neighbor. You're out there on a hope and a lucky rabbit's foot, trying to make a profit. What you need to do is open your eyes. Look. It sounds so simple, but yet it's so hard. Now I know you're a little scared. You're afraid of what you might see. You're afraid you won't know what to do or how to do it. And that is actually the second profit block, the empty toolbox. You want to understand those numbers that your accountant or your bookkeeper gives you. You want to know how to price to achieve your profit goals. But your toolbox is empty. I can help. I can put the right tools in your toolbox. Now let's go a little further down this path. The path to your profit goals. We've cleared away the first one. You've opened your eyes. We've busted through the second one. You have tools in your toolkit. Well, now I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been tempted to win business by dropping your prices? When that sales conversation comes, the one that we all hope for and dread, the one where they ask, how much? In your head, you know, I should confidently state my price, the price that takes me on my path to profit. But all too often, we listen to that voice of doubt. Are you worth it? Will they pay it? Some business is better than no business, right? Wrong. That is the third and final profit block, the bargain bin. You will never achieve your goals by selling yourself short. Worse, you will attract the dumpster diving clients who only shop in the bargain bin.
What I really love about Nicole Fendi is that she really gets why people like me hide from our numbers. And she doesn't judge.
She enables small businesses across the globe to see what blocks them from getting success. Something that's very, very tough to do, but is hugely beneficial.
As a fighter, I'm not afraid of anything. I fight on the U.S. kickboxing team. No fear except money. And I will say happily after listening to her that I have no fear of money anymore. And I'm excited to rock my finances.
Rock my
If you've learned about one obstacle in your life, if you've heard of one solution that will work for you, I want you to raise your hand. And yes, now I see an obstacle. And keep those hands up. I see you. Look at that. You've got your hands up, and now what I want you to do is I want you to claim that you are worth it, and I want you to stand up. Because now is your time. Now is your time. Go claim your dream.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. 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 I'm so glad I showed up because that's like a kind of preview into hopefully what we will be doing.
Yes.
Yeah, into those master classes and working together with people. But I want to talk about before we finish this radio interview, that whole thing about the fear of money. I mean, that kickboxer, she's like, I'm not afraid of anything except money. And
Yes.
it just goes to show that we all have fears in some way or another, no matter how small or how big it is. And people are afraid of, like when you talk about the bargaining at the bargaining table, You
Right.
really want to cut your costs, but I've never done that. I have never, because I believe in my value, and I've said no way. I am not going to go low just because if you do it, you set a precedence, Nicole. You do it
Oh.
once, yeah, you do it once, and from the time they know that you do it once, and talk goes around, because they're going to tell others. Once you meet with Corinne, yeah, and you talk a particular way, she's going to cut down her cost. Talk is going to go around. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
you paid full price, you're going to be mad because
yeah.
someone else didn't.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm not lowering my price. And there are people who tell me, oh, I could get it cheaper. I'm like, sure, go ahead.
Yeah,
No
go
problem.
for it.
Go for it. I
They aren't
tell you.
me.
Yeah,
They aren't.
yeah. I'm like, they say, oh, I can get it cheaper here, and this person is offering it at that, but they want to work with me, so they're trying to manipulate me to lower my cost. I'm like, no, you go right ahead. It's fine.
Yep.
I'm good. I am not going to compromise my value just because you feel that somebody is offering the same thing cheaper. That's fine. That's why there are other people doing other things, or doing what I may be doing, but probably not at the same level, same quality, same everything. So you feel free to go. So I have never done that, and I don't flinch when I talk about my money. I don't flinch. I'm like, this is it. This is it.
Awesome.
Yeah. But thank you so much, Nicole Fendi. I mean, oh my God, you're laughing here. You're laughing here. It's beautiful to laugh. It keeps you looking young. It keeps
That's
you
right.
looking young. You don't need to go to the doctor for that medicine. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, there's no medicine for your laughter. So you're good to go. Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry I didn't get to show myself, because in between, as you can tell, I was coughing.
I know.
Yeah.
Feel better soon. Thank you for having me, and I've thoroughly enjoyed our discussion
Oh
today.
yes, I didn't even feel like we were on a radio interview or interviews. My radio shows are always so conversational. We talk like if we have known each other for years.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
feels like it.
yeah, right? So I am so happy to have you on my show. I look forward to having you back, whether on my show, on a masterclass, but really bringing the actuarial side of you out to help small businesses. And I wish you all the best with your books, those 2 books, as well as your lovely characters. And I expect to see more books coming from you.
There will be.
Good. Very good. So have a great relationship with your editor now.
She knows I love her. She knows I love her.
Okay, my darling. Thank you so much for being on Between the Lines. All the best to you.
Thank you.